Previously on ETN 2.0.
How Egypt was saved after 150 years. A strong military guy came, united Upper and Lower Egypt.
Right.
We need a strong leader to make the law and to tell the people that demonstration, it doesn't mean democracy means you have to demonstrate all the time. You have to stay without work for 3 years. No, people has to understand that we need to build our country and we need all of us to work. And this is really what the young people has to learn.
Do you think Egypt is Arab Spring gone wrong?
You know, Egypt is different because if you look at the Egyptians, they speak Arabic. The majority are Muslims, but they are different from the Arabs. They are different from the Africans. We Egyptians are unique with their personalities, with their characters, and therefore I really think that Egypt, based on someone like me who learn history, that without Egypt, the Arabs will never be united. Egypt is a place that the Arabs gives hopes to all the Arabs because it can save them from many things. And this is why all the Arabs are waiting until Egypt will go in the good step now.
Yeah,
Because since the revolution happened, there is no one single accident happened to any tourist. If you go to the sites, secure, hotels are secure. The only thing that happened in Egypt in 2 or 3 squares.
Right.
And this is why if anyone comes to Egypt, I think, and I can see, he can feel safe. And it's very important for all the people to come back to visit, because without tourists, the monuments will be deteriorating.
I saw that, and
It is because the tourist gives money from tickets to an Antiquities organization. It's a legend, doesn't
Right,
exist.
right,
Called
right.
the Red Mercury, and this red mercury, it doesn't exist. It's something was created. This name when the Soviet Union was finished, and they had something with the uranium, but people in Egypt created this word, and they think it's a liquid in the throat of the mummy. If you get it, you can cure sick people, and you can control the devils. It's a legend among the people. And even some intellectuals, when I walk in the street, they ask me about the red mercury. People began to create stories about antiquities.
Right.
You know, it became like a nightmare of what the people think about antiquities after the revolution.
It's kind of like
The people who are in charge of antiquities now are not trained to be good, to do something. But the young people, if you let them, like I did, with them I made major important discoveries that captured the hearts of people all over the world. Now they're not working, they're not doing anything, and that's sad.
In this edition of ETN 2.0, we are continuing our chat with Dr. Zahi Hawass, the former Egyptian Antiquities Minister and former Secretary General of Egypt's Supreme Council of Antiquities. Dr. Hawass is known to the world as the Egyptian Mummy King / archaeologist, thanks to National Geographic television show called Chasing Mummies: The Final Secrets of King Tut. In this edition of ETN 2.0, Dr. Hawass talks about a political group in Egypt called Tamarud, as well as his conflicts with the British and other governments because of his efforts to recover Egyptian artifacts. As well, Dr. Hawass shares his view on how he thinks Egypt tourism should move forward from the political climate that it is currently in, a situation that is currently inflicting hardships among those employed in Egypt's travel and tourism. And finally, Dr. Hawass reveals new details about the mysterious boy king named King Tut.
I can see that you still have very much passion for this job.
All the time. I have passion all the time. For the last, I just appeared. One
Right.
book, this book appeared for me. this
Okay,
week.
well, discuss that in a
Yeah.
second. If you were given a chance,
No, I said no. There is a tamarrud. You know what's mean tamarrud? Tamarrud is an Egyptian word, means people are against the president. You know how the 30 June began was a move called tamarrud. Mutiny. Mutiny. Then there is Antiquities. There is 22,000 people signed for me to go back. And I said, no, I can't go back in a temporary government.
Okay.
I can go back if there is permanent government, then I can work with the people. But to go now, I will face demonstrations and I will face hateness, and I'm not ready for this now.
You mentioned that you got back some of the antiquities that were
5,000.
Okay, you have a special relationship with the British, in that they still have in the British Museum some of the artifacts that you want to recover. So talk a little bit about that.
You know, when I made this movement about returning the stolen artifacts, I was really severe in that thing. And this is why in year 2006, Time magazine took me from top 100 because of that. But I said there are 6 pieces that they should be in Egypt, like Rosetta Stone in the British Museum,
All right.
and the Bust of Nefertiti. And I really collected informations that the Bust of Nefertiti left Egypt illegally, and it should come back. I wrote a letter, the first letter that ever written to the people in Berlin, and that letter I asked them to return. I did not really. This is the letter. Then I asked them that we have evidence that this bust left Egypt illegally, and it has to come back. And number 3, the statue of the architect of the Great Pyramid in Hildesheim Museum, the Zodiac at the Louvre, the statue of the architect of the Second Pyramid in Museum of Fine Arts in Boston, and finally the statue of Ramses II in Turin Museum in Italy. Those are 6 unique objects. Their home should be Egypt. And I have been struggling with the British Museum and fighting and asking. And actually, the result of my fight with the British, that the Rosetta Stone was shown in a dark area. But after I said bring it back, they put it in a nice area, and it became now the icon of the British Museum.
Just because you put your stamp on it. Are there any regrets as the Secretary General of the SCA?
No, I really did the best for Antiquities, and I made Egypt to be in the hearts of everyone all over the world. And look now, when I travel to the States and I see young people, I can see the Antiquities are in their hearts. This makes me happy. Then really what I did for 10 years for Antiquities, it's something that everyone is talking about it now, and this makes me happy. And even if you go in the streets of Cairo and ask the layman, who's the head of Antiquities? They will never mention the one now. I don't even remember his name. What's his name? I don't. But they will tell you Zahi Hawass.
You were quite media savvy. I have to give you that.
The taxi driver, now when I came today, asked me what you will do to return this antiquities that stolen after the revolution. I told him, ask the man who's in charge. He said, no, you are in charge. Then they think that I'm the person who really should do this. And this makes me happy. What really makes me happy that the layman in the streets who doesn't know how to read and write began to talk about antiquities.
Right.
And this really is something that make me happy.
Congratulations on that. I think that you should be proud of that. What has happened in Egypt, given what the consequence of that, would you do anything different as the Minister of Antiquities?
Now?
Yes.
If I'm in charge now?
Yeah. What would you do?
No, I will continue. You know, what really I used to do things for the benefit of the personnel. I always say, if you need to restore antiquities, you have to restore the people. I restored the people. Good salaries, health insurance, making a feast for archaeologists. That really what made everyone to work with me.
Right.
You can't work alone.
Right.
You can't be a pharaoh. No, you need to be with the people. And this is why all the people in the Antiquities Department were working with me as a team. Now, no one is working as a team. No one really have the antiquities in their hearts. People are damaging or stealing or attacking antiquities. And I think this is what the people really want now. They need a change, but I didn't really see this change can happen with a temporary government. We need to wait until we have a permanent government, then we can do things again.
How do you feel about Egypt's travel and tourism right now?
No, I think I told you I'm leaving tomorrow night to go to 10 cities to promote my book and to tell the people to come back. And I really will go in the States again. Year 2014, from January to August, will be the time to promote Egypt tourism. And I really think that Egypt tourism, within 2 months, they will come back, because now the violence is finished, the curfew stopped. Now people began to think that they need really, the minority of these young people who call themselves Muslim Brothers are not really Muslim Brothers members, but they're paid people to make disturbance and to make trouble in Egypt. And this can happen, and we can live with this, but cannot stop tourism.
All right. Do you have any recommendations for travel and tourism, how to move the country forward?
I think how to move the country forward for tourism now, we need all of us with the Minister of Tourism to try to promote Egypt and tell people that Egypt is safe. Because you have been here in the sites.
Right.
The sites are wonderful. Actually, I always tell people, if there is trouble in Egypt, come back. Because sites are free, empty, nice, and you can really enjoy. You have to know that tourism for us is like the most important thing for every Egyptian. If you go to the guy who clean your shoes, tourism.
Right.
Sell tomatoes, tourism. Pharmacy, tour guides.
Yeah.
All these people are not eating now.
Yeah.
That's why all the Egyptians think that tourism is very important to them.
Maybe it was taken for granted before, that they didn't realize how important travel and tourism.
But now they do.
Now they do, and I saw that the trickle-down effect of travel and tourism. No other country epitomizes this more than Egypt.
Yeah, right.
How do you feel about Minister Sazu's performance as a tourism minister?
Minister Zahi, I think he's a good guy, and I think he's doing his best to do that. He's cooperating, and I think what really I respect from him, he knows my value, and that's why he asked me to when to go to Canada. I did go in a tour to promote Egypt. I'm going now to Germany and Warsaw, in Poland, and I think this to show that this man is very sincere and is working very hard, and is trying to go to countries to tell them to come back. And I really feel that he's making tourism to come back, and he will soon.
Yeah. So you are basically going on a PR campaign for Egypt.
For the Minister of Tourism.
Right. Given your interaction with the Americans, what do you make of their perception about traveling to Egypt at the moment?
Now, because the American government gave this warning, and this is why Americans are afraid. But there is many Americans who knows Egypt very well. And I think when the constitution will be announced and the parliament election will happen, I'm sure that the Americans will come back, because the American market for Egypt is the most important thing. Because if the people saw Americans visiting Egypt, all of them, they will come back. And this is why I'm telling Minister Zahi, you need to promote tourism in America first.
Right.
Because if you bring one American to Egypt, all the European people will come back.
Yeah. I think first, though, we need to talk to the airlines, because the airlines pretty much shut Egypt.
They shut because there is no travelers.
Right.
But they will. But still, you have Egypt Air flying non-stop until now. You came in Egypt Air?
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, it's kind of sad to see that when I flew in, all that I saw was Egypt aircraft. There was a Star Alliance aircraft, but that's part of the Egypt Air is part of Star Alliance. So there are no other aircraft. Now in Hurghada, it's different because there's Russian carriers, because there's an influx of.
But there is many airlines travel to the States from here, Lufthansa and all the airlines.
I didn't see them yet. I haven't seen them.
I traveled to.
You're going to.
I was in Carmel 3 weeks ago. I went in Lufthansa from here. Then all the airlines are traveling.
Lufthansa is a good airline.
Yeah.
It's. Do you think Egypt messed up with the 2011 revolution?
With 20.
11, the revolution in 2011.
اكلمك بعد دقيقه واحده بس، عندي بعمل حديث بس. بعمل حديث لصحفي امريكاني. ف say it again. What's the question? What's your question again?
Do you think that Egypt messed up with the 2011 revolution?
What do you mean by
like with travel and tourism? Like,
you know, when the revolution happened in January 25th, it scared people, and that's why people stopped coming here. But as I told you, that this revolution is not the first one to happen. It happened 4,200 years ago, exactly. And that's why it took us 3 years. 3 years in a period of a revolution is not really much. If you see what happened in this last 3 years, you will know that Egypt will improve again soon. We need only a very strong president to tell the people democracy doesn't mean that cannot work. It doesn't mean democracy to demonstrate and stop traffic. No, if you do that, you'll be in jail. And this really is the law that's coming now. If this law will be approved by the president, I really think that tourism for year 2014 will come back.
Okay. What do you think are the steps necessary for the country in order to show itself as a stable destination for tourists?
I think to show it a stable destination for tourism, that the Minister of Tourism, Zahi, should make an international press conference to tell the people why we need them, to tell the people how sites and hotels are secured, how the Egyptians want the tourists to come back. This will bring you at least 30 or 40% of tourism. But within 1 year, when the roadmap will finished and having the election of the parliament and a president, I think tourists will normally be back.
And your target for this,
yes.
I think it's 2014.
Yes.
That seems realistic. What's keeping you busy these days?
Writing books. I finished this book. There is another book is coming next month about mummies.
Talk about your book.
You know, this is a book about Tutankhamun, discovering Tutankhamun from Howard Carter to DNA. In this book, there is very important new information about how I used CT scan and DNA to reveal the family of Tutankhamun. I found that Akhenaten was his father. KV-55 mummy is the mummy of Akhenaten. And also I found the mummy of his mother. It is the younger lady in KV-35. And I found the mummy of Queen T. Also I found how King Tut died. Because we found that he suffered from malaria. He had physical problems because his father married his own sister. And I really believe that the reason for his death that he could fall down from a chariot. I also talked about what happened in the Valley of the Kings after King Tut tomb was found, the discovery of a tomb KV-63 and KV-64 and KV-5 and KV-53 that I found myself. I talked about preserving the Valley of the Kings, what the Valley of the Kings will reveal in the future. We're waiting for another discovery, the tomb of Ramses II and Ramses VIII. All the queens of Dynasty 18 needs to be found. This book actually is explaining also the tours of King Tut and how I sent an exhibit to more than 8 cities in the States, and we made for Egypt $125 million. And this is why I'm very proud that this book appeared this week, and it is the book about Tutankhamun.
Perfect.
There you have it, the mystery of King Tut's life and death, as well as the identity of his parents, have been solved. Hawass's new book hits bookstores the world over this month, as well as online. This is Nelson Alcantara for ETN 2.0. Till next time.